All right. That still worked, even though I messed up and forgot to start the timer. Welcome, everyone. We are back. It's another Saturday afternoon, 12:15 p.m. And we got a couple things in store for you today, including picking or announcing the winner of the 25,000 subscriber giveaway. Hope everybody is doing well. I see that I do have audio. I'm on the right shot, so far so good, except for the countdown timer, FUPA. But anyway, welcome. It is a beautiful day here today. We have currently 76 degrees, going up to supposedly 80, and we haven't had that in a while. It's been nice, pretty cool weather the last couple of weeks. So I think we're going to try to get out and get a short lunch ride in on the Harley after the stream is over. So anyway, let's see. We have 10 people here and 3 likes. So again, folks, as I always ask, if you can hit that like button, I would appreciate it. And let's go over to the comments and see who is all here. We have, let's see. We have Grish. Good morning, Grish, and welcome. We have Terrell. Terrell, welcome. Glad to see you here. We have Bluey here. Welcome, Bluey. We have Mr. Tim Tech. Welcome, Tim. And Terrell says, dang it, he's at 34 degrees. Wow. Well, this is a little hotter than normal. I mean, it's been in the high 60s, low 70s. Again, I know that compared to 34 degrees, but today's kind of an exceptional day. TVJ, welcome. Glad to see you here. Keith Bennett, welcome. One of the things we're going to play around with today is the new Blackmagic Camera OS, camera for iOS. We're going to play with the SRT, and we're going to play with the built-in YouTube streaming, hopefully, if all goes well. You know how things are live. Thank you, Grish. I appreciate it. It's like smash since yesterday. Awesome. TVJ says it's currently 44 outside where he is. Welcome, Dave, from Charlotte. Appreciate you being here. Good to see you again. And wow, 25 over on the upper west coast of the U.S. Wow. Okay. So, audio, video, looking okay, sounding okay. Let me know. Terrell says he's about 2 hours north of Jeremy. Okay. Do you guys ever hook up, get together, like meet somewhere halfway at a pub, bar and grill, that type of thing? And I have my special streaming cup. It has become my designated streaming cup. And it's filled with, yes, you know it, iced coffee with the flavored sweetener. Actually, it's the Italian creamer is what it's called. Italian cream. It's Walmart's brand, believe it or not, and it's fantastic. Thank you, Grish. I appreciate that very much. All right, so a little story to start the stream off of. Ever since Jeremy either did a live stream or posted a video, I'm not sure which one, maybe even both, a few weeks back about Zorin OS, I decided to give it a whirl. And I've been running it on a virtual machine just on the Ugreen NAS, and it's been running flawlessly. Because my thought process back at the time was, I have this older HP laptop that I bought probably about 6 or 7 years ago. I just needed it for the business at the time, just a field laptop to take out with me, a real cheapo, one that I didn't care if it dropped. I didn't care if it got stolen, that kind of thing. Just needed something to throw in the bag that would do what I needed to do on site. The last 2 to 3 years, I really have been using it very minimally. It just sits there, and I charge it every once in a while to kind of keep the battery somewhat still usable. So I thought to myself, hey, if this works out with Zorin OS, if I like it, then maybe what I'll do is stop it on the VM and just install it on that laptop and maybe, breathe some new life into that laptop. And the laptop had 16 gig of memory, 16 gig of RAM and 500 gig hard drive, so SSD drive. So I figured, hey, maybe that would be a good reallocation and use of that laptop. As you can kind of tell by my tone, we're not going down a good direction here, going down a good hole here. So I did. This week I took the plunge and I downloaded the free version of Zorin OS 18. Did the whole Balena etcher, made the bootable USB drive, yada, yada, yada. Went through the whole installation process. Installation went well. But boy, have I been having issues with it. And I just don't know if it's an issue with the laptop now in general, because it was super slow, even running Windows 10. So, but I want to show you something. Let me bring this up. There shouldn't be audio on this, hopefully. Let me drop this down. I'm going to bring this over to this screen here and switch over to the super source. So this is just a quick clip I took. This is the Brave browser, which comes installed by default when you install Zorin. And this is what it was doing. So, as you can see, that's not usable. Then I said, well, let me try Chrome. And this is Chrome. I just took a still. I'm going to bring this over. This is a still image of Chrome. Oh no, actually this is Chromium. And then this must be Chrome. Yeah, this is Chrome right here. Chrome just completely froze the screen. I mean, I couldn't do anything. Mouse was dead. Keyboard wasn't responding. Nothing. Zilch. So, obviously, I didn't have much luck with Zorin OS running on the actual hardware. But I did a little research and I read somewhere that said, because I Googled it and I was like, why is this happening with Chromium or Chrome-based browsers? And they said something about it having to do with Wayland, conflict with Wayland. So sign out, sign back in with using Xorg instead of the default sign in, which is with Wayland. And also, if hardware acceleration is enabled, disable it. So I did both of those things. And lo and behold, the browsers loaded fine, all three Chrome-based browsers. However, the screen, after about 15 seconds, the entire laptop would just flash black to desktop, black to desktop, black to desktop, black to desktop. And at that point, I just said, screw this. I'm wasting too much time on it. It's a piece of crap laptop. It was worth a shot. So that's my stream kickoff story of my experience with running Zorin OS 18 on an actual piece of hardware. It's running great, still running great on the virtual machine. So I'll keep playing with it that way. So anyway, let's see, we have 14 people here, 8 likes. I appreciate that. Thank you, everyone. Let's go back to the comments and see where we are. Terrell also says 5x5. Thank you. And as far as him and Jeremy hooking up, not yet, but hey, maybe soon. That would be cool. All right, Keith says cool. I tried to figure it out, but got distracted yesterday. So yep, I did get it working. Although I got the SRT working. That was not as straightforward as I thought it would be, or as I would like it to be. But we'll talk about it, and I'll try to show it to you as far as what I'm talking about, as far as not being as straightforward. And then as far as the streaming out to using the built-in, so they added the platforms to that app. They added built-in streaming to YouTube, Twitch, and I think the third one was Vimeo, but I have an article that I'll bring up to confirm it. I wasn't really crazy about the quality of the stream. Now, I knew I have to take into consideration it's wireless, right? It's going just on the Wi-Fi or whatever cell signal if you're out and about, but I'll show it to you. I'm hoping to show it to you. I'm hoping to set up like a backup stream or a second stream, not a backup stream, a second stream in addition to this stream while this is happening, where I will be streaming from the Blackmagic app directly out to YouTube from my phone, and I'll just make it an unlisted stream and send you guys the link in the chat of this stream so that you can kind of look at it and see kind of what the quality it is. I didn't play around a lot with the camera settings, but still, just out of the box, it looks a little cakey to my eye, but anyway. Yep. I've used Rufus as well. On the Mac, I have Balena Etcher. On all my Macs, I have Balena Etcher installed, and I tried before I wiped out that HP laptop. I tried using Rufus because I had Rufus on that laptop. Tried using Rufus for making the USB sticks, and for whatever reason, it would not recognize the USB stick, which was brand new. I had just ordered it and it arrived for this project. So I just said, screw it. I'm going over to the Mac and I'll make it on Balena Etcher. And so anyway, but I've used Rufus and I like it. The laptop has an SSD drive in it. I replaced it a couple of years ago because, again, I bought the crappiest laptop back in the day just to, like I said, I didn't care if something happened to it out in the field. But then I got a little frustrated with the performance of it, so I increased the RAM, and I also cloned the original hard drive to an SSD drive, and so I replaced it with the SSD drive. So Tim is saying he likes Rufus as well. Couldn't get it on with Balena Etcher. Terrell's saying the same thing. Preference is Rufus. I did not create a poll today, so that's going to be my poll for this stream. Let's do that. Let's see. Although I kind of know where it's going. Is it Etcher? I'm not sure of the spelling of it. I'm just going to put Balena or Rufus. There we go. Thanks, guys, because I didn't have an idea for a poll today. So here we go. All right. Possible. Possible. I guess I could try updating that driver. if that's even possible. Again, when I'm playing around with Linux, you know me, guys, that's a little bit above my pay grade. I like to dabble. I know just enough to get myself in trouble. But thanks, Grish. I will see if that's a possibility. Yeah, and Bluey's saying the same thing. Looks like a display driver issue. Again, like I said, when I Googled it, it said something about being conflicted with Wayland. And like I said, when I switched over to logging in with Xorg, it displayed properly, wasn't flickering or anything like I showed you in the video, but then the entire laptop just started whacking out. So anyway, that's that. Tim, great question. I, for the life of me, cannot get into the BIOS. It's requesting the administrator password. I've put in every password I know under the sun, and nothing seems to be the password. I don't know if there was, by default, a BIOS password on the machine or not. I literally created my administrator account when I set up the laptop and assumed that the administrator password, because it's asking on the screen, it comes up asking for the administrator password to get into the BIOS, but it's not accepting it. Or what, so I don't know. And of course I tried all different things. I tried Googling and, And then the one thing I didn't try, which they said would probably work, is if I disassembled the laptop and took the battery off the motherboard, it would reset everything. But I haven't done that yet either. So, all right. Let's see. For those of you in the audience out there in YouTube land that use or own the Grandstream GWN 7062E, and that's the router that I had given away, or the two routers that I had given away in a past live stream, I think back in September. Grandstream just recently announced the Grandstream Home app here, as you can see, and it's specific to the GWN 7062E and 7062ET routers. It's a mobile app, allows you to set up, control, and monitor home networks from your mobile phone. It's a free app. It's designed specifically with the home user in mind, pairs up with the Grandstream GWN 7062E, like I said, in the ET. And I'm assuming, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's probably also going to work with the pluggable mesh devices that I showed you last week or the week before that are made to mesh with this router. So that's my assumption. It says router supported GWN 7062E, 7062ET, Android 8 and 8.0 and greater, iOS 13 and greater. You scan a QR code to set it up. I downloaded the app, but I didn't get really too far because you got to create an account and sign in, and I don't own those routers anymore. So put the brakes on to that real quick. Remote manage your network from anywhere, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, just a little tidbit PSA for those of you who have or own the GWN 7062E or ET. You now have a mobile app available to manage your network. So anyway. Let's see. There you go. Okay. Tim is hoping to do a video on the app. Awesome. Yes, you still have that router, Tim, so that would be cool. I would like to see that in action. So, and I may just pick up one of those routers with my own funds from the channel. I know I gave two away, and I probably should have only auctioned off one and kept the other, because I knew in the back of my head I had a little insight that those little pluggable compatible meshing devices were on the roadmap. I just didn't know when they were coming out. But for the price of those routers, for me to pick one up, again, I'll use the channel funds and give back to the channel. I may pick one up again because I want to get my hands on one of those pluggable APs when they come out and actually test the meshing with the 7062E. So, and Terrell says, interesting. And Bluey says, I would love this app as an option for the GCC 6010. Yeah. Well, who knows? Let's see where they're going. But I know when they released the 7062E, I mean, if you remember the video I did, and I think Tim did a video on it, and Willie did a video on it, the interface was very, very basic, and you could see it was truly designed for the home user. So, all right. And I have my handy dandy list here in front of me. All right. So we got 9 people here and 9 likes. Wow. Okay, cool. All right. I want to play now with the Black Magic stuff real quick. I'm going to bring this article up on the screen, switch over to here. Actually, before I switch to that, let's just go to here real quick. Let me just beat this up a little bit more. Yeah, monitor your home network. I'm back on the app. It has parental controls built in from the app. Control the network access, control network access, and then download it on the App Store or Google Play. Yep. Quick and easy setup, monitor. Yep. So there you go. Anyway, all right. Back to Blackmagic. All right, so Blackmagic's camera app now lets you stream like a pro without extra gear. They had a lot of enhancements to the app. The 2 that I'm most interested in are the addition of streaming to YouTube. Yep, Twitch and Vimeo, although I don't Twitch to the latter 2, I don't stream to the latter 2, just YouTube. But for me, it says the latest update also adds support for the SRT streaming protocol, which I think is pretty cool, but I'm not really quite happy with the interface and the way that they integrated it. But at least it's integrated. And it says here that it's iOS and Android. So there you go. So that's that. Let's do this. Let me switch back to here. Let me go to here. Let me get out of what I'm doing on the phone. Let's go over to, let's see if I can do this without messing up. Screen mirroring. Tony's Mac Studio. There we go. Let's get out of there and let's go back to here. Let's go to here and let's go to the Blackmagic app. All right. Let's see. Let's do this and this. All right. So in the Blackmagic app, in the lower right-hand corner, I hit the settings icon, and if you scroll down, you have all your record settings, all your camera settings, your audio settings. Excuse me, sorry about that. Your monitor settings, and now here you see live stream. And it's interesting because you have to enter the information into the fields before you actually can enable the live stream feature. Also, and I think I know why they did that, even though it seems to be a little clunky. I think they did that because when you hit live stream and enable it, it's also, if you're streaming out to one of the platforms, it's also enabling the stream. I mean, it's sending it at that point. But like let me show you here under platform, you see it says D350, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So originally it was just the Blackmagic Cloud that you could connect to the Blackmagic Cloud. So you see here they added YouTube, Twitch, and Vimeo. And then I was looking for something as far as the SRT was concerned. I was looking for custom, because they kept saying you can set up custom RTMP and custom SRT feeds. So, but instead, all it was YouTube, Twitch, and Vimeo, and then it said import stream settings. Now, you see I have the D350 in there, which is my decoder, which, as you guys know, when I use my phone with the other SRT app on here, the Stream to Studio app, I stream from this phone to the KiloView D350 decoder. So I literally had to create an XML file in order to be able to use the SRT, put the values in this XML file, and then import it into here, and that's how I was able to select the D350. It does work. I'm going to disconnect now real quick from the camera. Hold on one second. From the phone, I should say, and show you that app. Stop. Or show you that, not the app. Show you the XML file. It's going to be hard to see, but I'll open it with BBEdit. I created it in BBEdit, and I do apologize for it being difficult to see, but I'm just going to go full screen on it. So I just called it D350. For the URL, it's SRT:/ pointed to my D350. That's the IP address of the D350. Here's the port number. And then I just put in basic criteria: frames per second 30, codec H.264, and then the bit rate of 5, right? So that's I'm sorry, it's not that big, and it'll take me forever to enlarge it if I keep doing, because there's no shortcut, you see. So I don't want to keep going through that menu train. But so that's the XML file. And then, you know, obviously there's the process of getting it from the computer to the phone, and there's obviously ways of doing that. I just airdropped it because I'm on the Apple. But and then getting it to import. Now, you may be asking, well, what about other features, right? Like, what if I wanted to put a stream key in there? Or what if I wanted to put a latency value in there? And typically you would do that in the URL string. You'd put any more into that URL string that what I showed you there, the IP address or the port number, and the Blackmagic app burps. It doesn't like it. It doesn't accept it. Like, in other words, you would continue following the port number. You would do /live/ and then put your other values in. As soon as you put that word live in there, it doesn't like it. So, and then if you try to put those values in as separate commands under where it said, let me just bring it back up, under where you, in the config, let's go back, in the config area here, like where I have the frames per second and the codec, if I tried to add the latency or the stream key, it ignores it because it's meant to be in that URL. So in any event, let's test it. And I just got to bring up my decoder. I'll show you that. All right, so let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go back to here. Oh, wrong one. We want this. There we go. All right. And so you're looking at the D350 decoder. So now on the app itself, I'm going to launch the Blackmagic app. You saw it had the imported stream file that I created, that I showed you from BB Edit. So now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to turn it on here on the phone. Put my phone sideways for now. And let's see. I want to flip the camera. You don't need to see me. Camera. Where is it? Lens front. Come on. There we go. Where's the? There we go. Let's do that. All right. Let's see if I can get this to connect. And watch it don't work for me. Connecting. All right, we're going to disable it on here. We're going to try it again. There we go. On the phone now it says on air. Hopefully it'll connect and we should see something on the screen on the decoder. There we go. It changed to connected. And there we go. All right, so now it's streaming using the Blackmagic app via SRT to the decoder. And then obviously I could bring that as an input on the Blackmagic 2ME, and now you're seeing the actual stream using SRT on the Blackmagic app. So that works. Let me just get out of here. But I'm going to go back to AirPlay for a minute because I want to show you something else. Tony's Mac Studio. Let's go back to the Blackmagic settings. I'll show it to you here. Let's go switch over to this and this again. Okay. So now you see it's still, see it just shut off because I disconnected it on the D350 side. So it says connection failed and it automatically disabled the live stream button. Now, if I click on platforms, I would have to figure out how to get that XML file to work with more settings, so that I can pick, a lower quality, a higher quality. But I was just playing with it a little yesterday to get it to work. But honestly, what I feel is a little clunky here is I would rather see, instead of having to import the file, create the file yourself and import it into here, I would rather just see it say, instead of import stream settings, I would rather see it say custom. And then when you click on custom, all the fields pop up for you to populate. Similar to this right here. Let me see if I can flip the phone. You're not really seeing it, but because of this app. But that app Stream to Studio, when you bring it up, you just punch in there's a field for the URL, there's a field for the port number, there's a field for the latency. So you can create it on the fly in the app. And I wish Blackmagic laid it out and designed it that way, not I got to get out of screen sharing, and not the way they did it with the import the file yourself. So anyway, that's the SRT piece. We'll go back and see if we can show you the streaming to YouTube piece. But let's go back to the comments for a second. So Terrell says I will have to see what those pluggable APs are. Yeah, they haven't been released just yet. I think I showed them in the live stream and in the video I did on the product announcement video I did a couple of weeks ago. So excited. Let's go, Black Magic. Of the two choices, Jeremy says in the poll, I would use Balena Etcher, but mostly for Raspberry Pi related images. Good to know. Interesting. Terrell's talking with Jeremy. Jeremy says he's used Yumi when on Windows or Ventoy if on Linux. Hey, Alonzo, welcome. Don't worry about being late to the conversation. Glad you're here. Jeremy says, yeah, I'm stuck working again today. I was supposed to have Saturdays off this month, but that didn't happen. Oh, bummer. Grish is saying, remember that KiloView encoder that failed and you sent it back? Did they ever send you a new one, or do they still have it? I remember it. That was one hell of a fiasco. I did send it back. I don't even know if it got there, Grish, because there was even tragedy with that in the shipping process back. I never heard from them one way or another. I never got another one. And I just left it alone. Now, ironically, at that time when that decoder failed, and that's going back a couple of years now, when that, did I say encoder? When that encoder failed, the D350 decoder was also having some issues decoding certain types of SRT files. And if you remember, if you were with me back then, and I know, Grish, you were, I went through the trenches with KiloView support on getting the decoder issue resolved. And that, finally, after support ticket correspondence back and forth, I remember we did a remote call with the support guy and an engineer. And when they finally saw what it was doing, they emailed me back at that time. My God, you're making me go back to this subject, and I still remember it from 2-3 years ago. Anyway, I remember they emailed me back and said, we've isolated the problem. We're working on a fix for it, and it'll be released in a future firmware update. And I was like, yes. 3 months ago, I got that email from David. His name was David, the support guy over at KiloView. Said, hey, Tony, we finally, rolled out that fix. Here's the link to the firmware if you want to update it. So it took 2.5 years, if maybe even 3. I don't remember how far back it was. I'd have to look at the date of the SRT stream that myself, Joe from Capture the Concept at the time, I forget what his channel was called, and then TVJ. The three of us did that SRT live stream. And that's right around the time that I was having the issue with the KiloView products. So I know it's at least 2 years. It could be 2.5, 3 even. So finally got an email from the support guy a couple of months ago. Is that wild? I mean, I had completely forgotten about the issue. Thanks for bringing that up, though, Grish. That was a memory well worth speaking about again. Does Blackmagic ever make custom easy? Yeah, right. Having to import an XML file makes sense. Yeah, I get that because they're ATEMs. You do the same thing, but we're talking about a phone, a mobile device, a mobile app, and yes, I mean, some people may use it in production for things, but I don't know, the average user, I mean, I don't know. I just think you should be able to fill in the custom fields. $4.99. Oh, thanks, Keith. Appreciate it. Appreciate the super chat for the Blackmagic demo. Oh, I'm gonna do more with the YouTube now. I'm gonna stream out to YouTube Live on a second stream in a minute. Yeah, that SRT feed stream was a long time ago, for sure. So Okay, now bear with me for a second. I am going to create a second YouTube. Let me go here. I'm going to create a second stream. I'll make it unlisted and I'll just put the link in the chat. Just give me a second or two to get it set up real quick. Create, go live, schedule stream. We're going to reuse the same settings. I'll just say Blackmagic Design test camera test stream from camera app. How's that? All right, and then I'll just get rid of that. I probably should real quick create a second. That's going to be on. I'm going to use the same thumbnail. It's going to be unlisted, and then as soon as we stop it, I'll delete it. So I just didn't want to get anyone confused. We don't need to have monetization on for that. Next. And next, we'll make it unlisted and we'll say November 8th. The time now is good. Done. Now I got to get the stream key from that. I got to make sure it's a different stream key. Okay. All right, I copied the stream key. Bear with me. And now I'm going to go into my phone and I'm not going to show you, well, I'm going to show you part of it. I'm not going to show you the whole thing because part of it is seeing it, right? Let's go into the Mac Studio and let's go back into the Blackmagic app. Hold on a second. Let me switch over to that and this. All right, let's go into the Blackmagic app. And now, again, I am in the live stream area. I'm going to click on platform. Instead of D350, which is my decoder, I'm going to click on select YouTube. And now it automatically, selects the server being primary. You have the option of primary, secondary, or automatic. And then you have to enter the stream key here. So I'm going to enter my stream key off screen. So I'm going to stop the sharing, but real quick before I do, once I enter the stream key here, then as soon as I hit the live stream button, as soon as I enable that, it's going to start streaming out to YouTube. And once I see that it made it there, I'll share the link. And if you guys want to go open up another browser window and just check out the picture quality, that's fine. The other thing I want to do too, so I'm not holding the phone, is bring up this guy right here and put the phone in the holder. So it's going to take me a second, so you need to bear with me on this. So anyway, that's the process. Let me quit the mirroring and let's go back to me for a second. All right, so I'm going to come into here. I'm going to copy my stream key. Okay, so copy. And now I'm going to paste, go back to the app where I showed you and hit key and paste it in there. I know you're not seeing this. That's why I showed it to you before I went off camera with it. Okay, so my stream key is set. Now, let me do this. I hope this doesn't create like a double audio, but I'm plugging in the Hollyland Lark 2 USB adapter into my phone so that you can hear something. And then I'm going to make sure it's selected under audio. Okay. It's not seeing it yet. I guess maybe I have to put the other piece on. So let me, okay, let's do this. Okay, check. Let's see if it sees it now. Okay, it says wireless microphone. All right, cool. All right, that's that. Now let me get it in here. I'm not going to bother balancing it, but let me get it in here. All right, come on. Let's do this. Okay, and let's go to here. Let me turn on the live stream now, and we'll see if it goes out to YouTube. On the other, let's see if I get, yep, it's got a connection. I can see it. Now, let me just do this. Let's go lens. Let's go like this. Front cam. Let's put this over here. Let me adjust that a little bit like that. And let me copy the link now. Drop it in the chat of the current stream. And hopefully, okay, so there's the secondary stream. So you should be seeing the stream coming from the Blackmagic camera now. If you go check on that. Let me know what you think of the quality. I don't think it was all that great, but then that's just me. I'm going to head over there myself real quick and take a look. If you go check on that. No, it's not horrible. Let me know what you think of the quality. It just looks a little cakey to me. Don't think it was all that. So I'll let that run I'll leave that running in the background. But, so yeah. Thoughts on that. And in the meantime, let me check the poll. We have 10 votes. We have 80% of you prefer Rufus. Only 20% of you prefer Bellina Etcher. That's okay. Whatever works, right? Whatever gets the job done. So there you go. I could see on the unlisted stream we have 5 concurrent viewers and 1 like. And on the main stream we have 11 viewers and 12 likes. Now we have 7 concurrent viewers on the main stream. Hi everybody on the stream from the Blackmagic camera app. Now, I tried to reproduce the colors as close as I can. Like I didn't play around a lot with them, just like the lighting and all, to try to match what you see here in my mainstream. But anyway, that's that. We'll leave that running. Grish says, I heard Bellina collected data or something. I had a fail a couple of times on me, ended up going back to Rufus. Interesting. You know, that's funny because like this day and age, what's not collecting friggin' data, right? I mean, I don't know. Like this little wireless Hollyland mic I'm using. How do I know it's not collecting or sending this somewhere that I don't know where it's going? I mean, it's like, you know, but I hear you, you know. I've never had it fail though. I've never had Bellina fail me. But yeah. So anyway, I'm going to end this poll on this mainstream, and I'm going to create another poll. No, I'm not going to create another poll. I'm just going to let the secondary stream run. But that's pretty much the Blackmagic camera app, streaming directly out to YouTube. It's all wireless, and I'm using the Hollyland transmitter and receiver for the audio on that particular stream. And I'm starting to get comments in that stream. Hold on. Hello, Keith is saying cool. Rish is saying hello. Drum Tech Photo, howdy. Howdy. I've never seen you before, Drum Tech Photo. Awesome, welcome. This is just a test stream from the Blackmagic camera app. How funny is that? Alonzo says looks good. Keith says quality okay. These are, I can't bring them up on the screen. Obviously, I'm reading them through the YouTube studio. How funny is this? Let me bring this over here. Drum Tech Studio says looks good after switching to 1080 quality. Bluey says, yep, hi. Mr. Tim Tech says it's okay, but like you say, colors are a little off. Yeah, I mean, I could play with the colors and the lighting, but I just kind of feel like my skin looks cakey as compared to the mainstream. Now, I am using Sony FX30 for the main studio, and this is the Black camera app, and I only have an iPhone 15. I don't have an iPhone 15 Pro or better or whatever, and I'm using the front camera, obviously, so I could see myself where I am positioned in the composition. And Drum Tech Photo says, right, it's not as clean as the mainstream as is, but it's working. Yes, and in a pinch to go out in the field and do something remotely is, I think, the intent of why Blackmagic did this. So in any event, I am going to leave that stream. I'm actually going to cancel that stream now and just focus on the main stream here. So I'm ending that stream now. Thank you guys for all going over there and checking it out, checking this one out. And I'm going to end it now. I just kind of wanted you to see what it looked like. But it works. So the SRT works and the streaming out to YouTube work. I'm going to assume that streaming out to Twitch and Vimeo work. I don't have an account on either of those platforms, so I can't test that. But anyway, ending that stream. Thanks for going out and checking it out and dropping the likes there. I appreciate it. All right. Cool. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Let me stop it here on the iPhone. And there. Done. Okay. Well, that was a successful test. Okay. Put you away for now. All right, let me get this off. Shut it down. Okay. That's that. That's that. Moving on, let's go back to here. Okay. Thank you for indulging me on that little test. Welcome back. Jeremy says, the only time I've had Bellina fail is when I used it on an off-brand device to image. Interesting. You're welcome. You're welcome, Keith. Anytime. I'm glad you were here to see it. Camera's not even close to compare with that facing camera and your studio camera. Exactly. Probably get a little better quality if I use the rear camera. But again, I wanted to see where I was in the shot. Bluey says switch back to the mainstream. Double audio is a bit strange. Yeah. I have Belina fail. Terrell says I have Belina fail is not make something not bootable when it was. Interesting. Keith says, are you enjoying the studio setup now? Absolutely. I love this. I love this setup. I feel so at home, so comfortable. I just never felt right the studio the other way, with all that space behind me because the room was just so long. Yeah, I'm loving this. Yep, 100%. Okay, got my handy dandy paper and pencil. I showed you the Blackmagic camera app article. If you're interested in the article that I had up on the screen from Digital Trends regarding the Black Camera app, and you want to read more about it, let me know. I'll drop it in the chat. We did the SRT demo. We did the YouTube second stream. All right. Keith says the audio sounded great on the second stream as well. Yeah, that's the Hollyland Mark M2 or something like that. I just got that last week because I thought I was having issues with my Rode Wireless Go 2. So, but thank you. Appreciate that, Keith. All right. I'm going to do one more thing. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, a couple of things to talk about. I want to do one more thing real quick before we get to the giveaway, and then we'll do the giveaway. So I want to go, let me just bring it up here. Let me switch over to this and to this, and let me just get to my channel. And I want to look at a couple of the every other day polls that I've been running on my post page, or I still refer to it as the community page. I was hoping to do this each week. I think I run 3 or 4 polls because I think they go every other day in between live streams. But last week I had forgotten, so I'm going to go back a little bit just to look at the totals on some of these. Okay, and I think this one, we're going to start here. So if you're running a network controller, the question was pretty easy. Where do you host it? It's either on your own, on-premise, on your own controller, or hosted somewhere in the cloud, depending on what the platform is. And 82%, 34 votes, 82% to 18% host in on-premise. Then 2 days later, 3 days, or the next day, it looks like, I'm not even sure. I think I switched to every other day at some point. What's your ideal home or office network setup? Single all-in-one router and multiple APs, router and switch and APs, or using a mesh system. 24 votes on this one, 92% router, switch, APs, 4% for mesh and router with APs. And then there's the giveaway. There's the rules. All right. What's your go-to troubleshooting tool? Ping Traceroute, Wireshark, controller analytics logs. No troubleshooting tools. I just reboot everything. 62% out of 37 votes, 62% Ping Traceroute. Initial troubleshooting anyway. Wireshark, 16%. I was surprised to see that the logs were such a low percentage, and then this one cracks me up. But okay, moving on. Then Halloween, which was a week ago Friday, a little Halloween fun. Which piece of smart tech would be your worst Halloween nightmare? 24 votes, 54% said the AI assistant that starts locking doors on its own. 21% smart security cameras that watch you even when they're powered off. 17% the smart lights flickering Morse code messages from beyond. And then 8% Wi-Fi that refuses to disconnect even after you pull the plug. Sorry, just a little Halloween humor there. All right. I'm getting closer to the end. What is your favorite when it comes to reliable access points? I wasn't surprised at the results of this, but I wanted to do it anyway. What is your favorite when it comes to reliable access points? Which brand do you trust most for rock solid Wi-Fi? 65 votes on this. Grandstream, 14%. The clear winner, Ubiquiti Unify, 72%. TP-Link Omada, 9%. Meraki, 5%. I knew for sure Unify was going to run away with it. I thought for sure that TP-Link might be a little bit higher, but interesting. I like doing these polls because I like to kind of just see what the folks out there are thinking about this stuff. How do you prefer managing your network devices? Through the web UI, through the mobile app, SSH command line, cloud portal? 71% through the web UI, 3% through a mobile app, 19% SSH command line. I could almost figure out who those folks are in my circle. 59 votes on this one, by the way, and 7% cloud portal. And then we got one day ago, and I think that's the last one to catch me up so that next week I don't have to do so many. I could just do, it'll be only like 3 or 4 1 week's worth. What is your VPN of choice? And here we go. WireGuard 63%, OpenVPN 20%, IPsec 6%, and 12% say I don't use VPNs. So there you go. Now we're up to date with the actual community posts. Done. All right, let's go back to the comments, see if any came in. Keith says, I have to go now, but so cool to see the demo. Enjoy the giveaway. We'll see who won when I get back later to the recorded stream. All right, Keith, thank you so much for dropping in. I appreciate you being here. And I'm sorry I missed your stream on Tuesday night completely. I do usually try to catch the second hour, but I just couldn't make it this week. And I'm going to try to be there in the second hour this Tuesday night. All right. That's that. Okay. We are on to the 25,000 subscriber giveaway. And as you know, I'm giving away a Ubiquiti package. In the package is the EdgeRouter X SFP, brand new, never been used. UAP ACLR, brand new, never been used. UAP Beacon HD, only used for testing in the lab here and making a video on it back then at that time. Honestly, not sure if it's been factory reset or not, so I'll do that. I'll make sure I factory default it reset it before I ship it out. So those are the 3 items included in the package. I'm going to do exactly for this what I did in the last giveaway in September, and I'm going to explain it to everybody, especially if you're here for the first time. The way I run my giveaways, I open it up to everybody. I don't omit the international folk because I just don't think it's fair to do that. I know there are YouTubers out there that say US only because they don't want to deal with the shipping intricacies and costs to ship overseas. So my attitude with that is give everybody an opportunity to join, but for the international folk, just give them a PayPal flat rate so that at least they can participate. Now, most of the time, and I don't do a lot of giveaways, but most of the time I will make the flat rate via PayPal for the international winners equivalent to, or very close to, the equivalency of the value of what is being given away. In this case, I couldn't do that, obviously, because probably got 300, maybe better, 300, maybe $350 worth of items there. So I had to flat rate it at $50. Again, at least everyone had the opportunity to join and try to win something. That said, I picked the winner this morning prior to the stream, and I did that last time as well. I recorded the whole process. And the reason I do that is because when Gleam.io's random picker, or winner picker, winner picker, when Gleam.io's random selection process picks the winner, that's a better way of saying it, it pops everything up on the screen about that person. And I feel that it's my duty to not disclose their email address, where they live, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't give me the actual street address, but it does give me the city, state, yada, yada, yada. So I do the entire process prior to the stream, recorded, so that this way I can blur out the information of the winning person. So it's still picked randomly by Gleam, and I'm just going to roll that recorded footage from this morning. So let me just cue it up. Good luck, everybody who joined. You have a 1 in 16 chance of winning. There were only 16 entries. I know I didn't run the entry period as long as I did last time, but I think last time we had 20, in the high 20s, maybe 30, I'm not sure. But in any event, we had 16 entries, so you have a 1 in 16 chance. Let me cue it up. And let me watch the audio to make sure there is audio coming in. And here we go. Good luck. All right, everyone, the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time to announce the winner of the 25,000 subscriber giveaway. I have the Ubiquity prize package in front of me. We have the EdgeRouter X SFP, the UAP ACLR, and the UAP Beacon HD. Before we pick the winner, I just want to go over the rules one last time. You should have read them prior to entry. You know that, but let's go over them just so we're all on the same page. I'm going to switch over to the Gleam interface now. And we could see that the entry period ended last night, November 7th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. It had opened on October 28th at 12 a.m. Again, the prize package is here in front of us. If you live in the United States, this is what you will win. There will be one winner. If you live overseas, international, then you will receive from me a $50 flat rate via PayPal. Again, I know it's not the equivalent value of the package that you see here in front of us, but at least it's my way of not omitting international folks from joining the giveaway, at least give you a chance to win something. Okay, that said, we have one unpicked winner. Let's go over to the winners page. And we're going to go ahead now and we're going to click on the green draw winner button. Good luck, everyone. Thanks for supporting the channel over the years, and I wish you all the best. Here we go. And draw. And there you have our winner, Russ T. Junk. Congratulations. I have your email. I will send you an email. You can respond to that email with your shipping address. Please do so within 7 days so I can get this out to you. If I don't hear from you within 7 days, then I will void your winning entry. Okay, everyone, that's it for now. Again, thank you all for joining, and thank you for supporting the channel over the years. Okay, so there you have it. Congratulations, Russ. Again, I will email you, send me your full shipping address. Like I said, I don't have the street address portion of where you live, and I will get that out to you. I'll make sure I factory reset the Beacon HD just in case I didn't when I was done testing with it, and it'll be on its way. So thank you, everybody, for participating in that giveaway for celebrating 25,000 subscribers. Congratulations, Russell. Yes. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Okay. Terrell's, everybody's congratulating Russell. I don't know if Russell's even here, but congratulations, Russell. I loved his email. The first part of his email was Rusty Junk. Rusty Junk. I love it. Awesome. Drum Tech Pro. Hey, welcome. I know I saw you over in the secondary stream. Thanks for joining the main stream. Yep. Congratulations to Russ. All right. Let's see. Quick update on the deck, and then I'm just going to give you a preview to some gear I'm going to be getting soon, hopefully this week. All right, so last week with the deck, let's jump over to here. This is where we were last week with the deck. It's coming along. This is the picture I showed you last week. Then the pictures I'm about to show you from where we are as of now are a little dark because I went out later last night with the drone right before, as it was getting dark, to get some better pictures. So that's last week. This is where we are this week. So the entire top is done. We have another look at it here from a different angle. And then we have the side view here and the front view here. Like, again, I'm sorry the pictures are dark. I went out last night right before as the sun was beginning to set. I didn't have a chance to throw them in Photoshop and brighten them up a little bit for you, but that's where we are. Now, you might notice, some of you who are very perceptive, because I do have perceptive people that follow my channel, you noticed last week the electric looked like it was done. Well, if you look closer at this, let's see if you can see it here. I don't know. You could see I got a wire hanging here and I got a loop hanging here in this box, and you probably see the wire hanging there. So if you're wondering what that's about, I decided before I tied it into the circuit, the live circuit, I wanted to change the outside portion of the wiring. Originally, I ran all Romex, and even though it's outdoors, I thought putting it in the actual PVC conduit and then, gluing the joints together. Fortunately, I hadn't glued the joints in last week's picture. I thought by gluing the joints and all, I would be okay running the conduit, the Romex inside the conduit. But again, I am not an electrician. I'm a low voltage guy, right? So I spoke to the electrician buddy of mine that works with me, and he said, you really, a lot of people think it's okay to put the indoor Romex in the PVC, but you really shouldn't, because over time, if the moisture will get underneath the jacket, the way the jacket's designed, it's just around the outside, and then you got the paper inside the Romex around the ground wire that will eventually get wet, and it could start causing problems down the road. He says use the outdoor rated wire, which is UF wire. It's a gray wire. So, and the way that the jacket is molded around each individual wire, it's just actually a lot more watertight. So I took the boxes off and everything and took his suggestion. And inside I'm still running, the Romex, but to the outside, I'm running the UF, the gray outdoor wire, inside the conduit as well. So that's what that's all about. So anyway, we're getting close to done on that deck. The only thing that needs to be done is hanging the ceiling fan, and which I think I'm going to do today. Originally, I was going to do that after the stream, but then when I saw the beautiful day, I said to my wife, let's take a ride, jump out on the Harley, and get some nice weather under our belt. But she's cooking, so I don't know if she's going to really want to leave what she's doing. So if she does, we'll go for the ride. If she doesn't, I'll put up the fan. And then the only other thing left for the deck at this point is he's got a little trim work to do at the base of the posts. Let me see if you could see it in the one picture. I don't know. I'll bring up last week's picture. It's a little brighter. Real quick, let's just go back to here. Well, the levels are in the way and this stuff is in the way here, but right around the base, if you look at the right post around the base where it's coming up through the decking, he's going to put trim wood around it to finish it off. He's going to do that for each one of these to make it look more finished. And obviously, if the cuts aren't perfect, it will hide those imperfections as well. So, and then the only thing left with the deck is it needs to be power washed because it's dirty from walking on it and working on it. It needs to be power washed and then clear coated. And we might do a stain, like a slight stain on it, a light stain, but I'm not sure. But we're probably not going to do that until the spring so that that wood has a chance to dry out. And then I'll probably deal with hanging the TV and all that stuff in the spring as well, because we're going into the season now where I don't think, even though we're in North Carolina, that we're going to be using the actual deck all that much. This shirt, yeah, I like this shirt. My wife got it for me. She actually saw it on Facebook. I hate when she buys stuff on Facebook, but I do like this shirt. Some of you have heard me tell the story. I wore it at a professional home show at the Wilmington Convention Center a couple of weeks ago, probably last month, and not realizing, there's roofers there, there's people installing, professional gutter guard installers and professional cabinetry, and will redo your bathroom. And so you got all these pro contractors there. And I'm walking around with this shirt. And everybody kept going to me, I like that shirt, man. I like that shirt. I like that shirt. I didn't realize that what I wore and where I was going, right? So I just thought that there was an irony there. But yes, I do like this shirt as well. I'm glad you like it, Grish. Funny how you mentioned Harley. I pictured you as a Harley guy from the start. Yes, I've had Harleys my entire life. We still have, we had two, we have one now. I also did recently trade one of the Harleys in for Can-Am, which is a Can-Am Spider. It's got the two wheels in the front and the one in the back, but it's fully dressed, meaning it's got side packs, it's got a tour pack, it's got heated seats, heated grips for the passenger as well as the driver. For my wife to go with me when we go out, it's more comfortable for her to be on that, and she's more secure knowing that it's on three wheels. But I still have the other Harley for when I want to throw my Harley gear on and go and, ride two wheels, get that two-wheel experience. So, yeah. And Jeremy says if he were to get a bike, he's always wanted an Indian. Yeah, Indians are very impressive looking and very good bikes. My friend has one. I've ridden his. Oh, wow, Terrell, I did not know that you rode. Awesome. Yeah. What do you have? What model? What year? All right. Deck update is done. All right. A little peek preview at what's coming in this week. Wow, 12 people still here. We are live for an hour and 20 minutes. Okay, so let me bring it up and I'll show you. Okay. Let's make this bigger. All right, I'm switching back to here. I am getting my hands on the Synology DS 1525 Plus, 5 drives. It's coming in this week. I think they're sending it with Synology hard drives. But I want to I'm going to try to see what OS it ships with. If I have to update it to DSM 7.3, I will, and I want to try to create a volume with it mixed with partial Synology drives, and I have two 4 terabyte Seagate Iron Wolf drives. So, but anyway, it's got the CPU is the AMD Ryzen V1500B, 4 cores, 64-bit architecture, comes with 8 gig out of the box. It's upgradable to 32. There's 2 slots. Your typical Synology specs: drives 3.5, 2.5, HDD, SDD, M.2, NVMe. They are hot swappable. It has 2 2.5 gig ports, one 3.2 USB Gen 1 port. The port for the expansion bay, which I like, they changed it from whatever it used to be. It's now USB Type C. So yeah, it has an optional 10. You can put the a 10 gig card in the PCIe slot. So yeah, it's coming this week. So that look for a video or two on that. That's one thing that's coming. Then the other thing that I'm expecting, and Tim, you're probably expecting this as well, is come on, I hate when that happens. Come on. All right. The GWN, they got to do something with this website though. GWN 7670LR. So this is coming. I was told it was shipped, but I haven't seen it yet. So we'll probably do a video or two on that. Whether or not I put it outdoors or not permanently, I don't know. I don't need it. I got good coverage in my yard already from just my indoor access points, but we'll see. And then, funny story, and I guess we'll close with the funny story, or not a funny story, but an ironic story. Now I've been talking about what I'm going to do outside with the deck, as far as bringing Ethernet to the outside. Talked about it last week a little bit with the decision making and planning that goes involved with choosing the right cable and choosing, making sure things are grounded and all that stuff. Well, Joe from from Capture the Concept had made a suggestion. Why not just run, in an outdoor exterior box, weatherproof box, directly off your main switches, and be done with it. And I thought about it, and Tim and I kicked that around after the fact too, and that's what I had decided I was going to do. My decision was made. No more, driving myself crazy, fitting the right wire with the right connector, with the right surge protector, and all that stuff. Well, the plot thickened. Uh-oh. My YouTube studio crashed. Why? Did I lose the stream? Check. 1, 2. I think I'm live still. Hold on 1 second. Maybe I'm not. It looks like it's live. Yeah, no, I'm live. That was weird. YouTube studio over here on my left just whacked out. I had been in touch with Fast Cable because the people from Fast Cable, because I was inquiring about one of their surge protectors. And in that correspondence, I had also said, hey, I have a YouTube channel. I'd love to review some of your products. If you're interested in doing collaborations, yada, yada, yada. I told them about my channel, the amount of subscribers, sent them the link, the whole bit. They answered my question on the surge protector, and they also were interested in the collaboration. So I was like, okay, cool. And they responded by they wanted a little bit more detail into how I run my collaborations, what my requirements are, how I, yada, yada, yada. And I gave them all that. And I told them I like to do honest reviews because that's what my folks expect from me. I don't let the vendors see the reviews prior to publishing. All the thoughts or my views and opinions and comments are my own, yada, yada, yada. So they agreed to that. And they wrote back and said, what product line, because they have various product lines. They have PoE products, they have wireless bridge products, they have solar products, they have camera surveillance, they have a whole bunch of different product lines. So they said, what are you interested in? And I said, well, to start, I'd be interested in testing out your surveillance line, and I would also be interested in testing out your PoE products, and left it at that. I gave them the product categories. They wrote back to me and said, sounds great. How about we start off by sending you the outdoor pass-through PoE switch? Now that's the switch that I had shown you all that I wanted to buy or was considering buying, and that's the one I was going to put outside, and all the cabling and the grounding and the surge protectors. So now thought I had my decision made, but now since they're sending me this, I don't want to just do an unboxing and a feature video, which I will do, but I also want to do it in a real life use case, since I have a real life use case that I could apply it to. So I'm back to the drawing board again. So that's also should be arriving sometime this week. But the irony is that out of all the products they have, they narrowed it down to that one particular switch that was under the PoE product category, and there was several. There was probably 10, 15 switches. So do they watch my live streams? Have they heard me talk about it? I don't know. It's possible, because I just thought it's ironic that that's what they offered to send me right off the bat. So anyway, that's what's happening. That's what's coming up. So yeah, I will be doing some videos on some fast cabling products in the near future. All right, folks, I'm going to go back to the comments one last time. We still got 14 people here, 15 likes. Appreciate it. Let's see. Jeremy says, my understanding has always been that an Indian line is the only other bike that Harley heads respect. It's interesting you say that, Jeremy, because there's a couple of schools of thoughts on this as far as being a motorcycle rider. There's a school of thought is motorcycle riders are motorcycle riders. If we're on two wheels, we're all up against the same risks and challenges, and everyone should respect everybody, regardless of what they drive. And that's pretty much what I follow. I will wave to a Can-Am, which is the three-wheeler. I will wave to Harleys, obviously. I own a Harley. I wave to Indians. I wave to the Japanese sport bikes, the Hondas, the Kawasaki's, the Yamahas, the Suzuki's. You're on two wheels. You're at just as much risk as I am. And, just because my bike says Harley doesn't make it, me better than you. So when I say funny that you bring that up is when I go out on the Can-Am, even though I'm a Harley rider and I've been my whole life, when I'm out on that Can-Am, the Harley drivers snub me. And I'm like, going by going, you asshole, I'm one of you. But you don't know it because I'm on a Can-Am. So it's just there's an irony there. The other school of thought is if you ride a Harley, you don't wave to the Japanese vendor bikes, you know, that kind of thing. They definitely obviously don't like waving to the Can-Am people. So Terrell says I have an '03 FLHT the police electric glide. Nice. Nice. So is it white? Because usually the police bikes are white. Tim says supposed to be here on Monday. Cool. Yeah, I haven't had any update on that other than Brian saying it was shipped. Jeremy says I got the 1522 Plus. NAS Compare had a video earlier in the week talking about the expanded line of NAS products from B-Link coming in 2026. Wow. I mean, yeah, he's your... I didn't even know about that. Robbie over at NAS Compares and Will over at Space Rex. Those are your NAS guys. Those are the NAS channels. So, I was still live. Wow, it was a blip. I'm not sure what the heck that was, but still here. Cool, still good, awesome. Alonzo Smith, hello. I see and hear you. And Tim says you need a shirt. My other bike is a Harley. I like that, Tim. I like that. I think I might just do that. So that's awesome. And of course, what do I do when I ride the Can-Am? I wear my Harley gear. I'm probably looking for a you-know-what kicking, but hey, it is what it is. So there you have it. We are live, or we have been live for an hour and 33 minutes. I'm going to wrap it up, guys, because like I said, it is beautiful weather. Thank you for those of you that stuck around. Again, congratulations to Russ, the winner. And I'm planning on being here next Saturday at 12:15 unless something comes up unexpected. Everybody have a great week. Stay safe, and we'll see you on the other side.